What would happen if aliens attacked Earth in real life? What if, more specifically, it was the Illuminate from Helldivers 2? If they attacked right now, right this very second, how would that go down? To talk about this hypothetical what-if scenario, we need to take some creative liberties and make some educated guesstimates. Stephen Hawking said there was no question about if alien life exists. It's just a matter of what they're like. And I agree with him. Statistically speaking, it is nearly impossible for there not to be other forms of intelligent life beyond the final frontier. He said that if an extraterrestrial civilization ever visited Earth, the results wouldn't be a peaceful exchange. It would be conquest. Hawking was talking more about the basic logic of power. Big fucks small. I mean, think about another series, Invincible. When the Viltrumites came to Earth, they considered the humans worms. If a civilization was advanced enough to cross galaxies and find us, by definition, it would not need our help or permission for anything. If they wanted something from us, our planet, our resources, or just straight up us, we could not stop them from taking it. Not even the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. Any species with that level of tech could regard us in the same way that we regard creatures beneath us. If they showed up right now, we'd be in serious trouble. You think they boom-tubed across the cosmos to our planet just to say what's up? Nah, they're going to brutally take over the planet. Now, because this is a hypothetical that takes place in real life, we aren't going to know anything about the Squiths. We won't know their motivations or the history of their empire, but soon we're going to find out what they're capable of. They teleport, they cloak, they control minds, and they have extremely advanced energy weapons, stuff so far ahead of us that it might as well be magic. Compared to them, we're behind in every category that matters. And they have dark fluid, allowing them to do things like bend light around them for their cloaking or even create black holes. Although, again, I don't think they would have come all the way to Earth just to create a black hole, so we probably wouldn't even know about their dark fluid for some time. Yet, for those who don't know, this kind of gives you a baseline of comparison between us. Our tech? Whack. Our defense systems? Whack. Our coordination? Whack. But our ability to vote? That's tight as fuck. But okay, what would that actual war look like? Not the Hollywood version where Will Smith slaps the Illuminate, or the one where he welcomes them to Earth. No, I'm talking the version where Earth is caught unprepared, outgunned, and overwhelmed. Day one of contact. We wouldn't see them coming until they were right at our doorsteps. One by one, satellites would go offline. GPS, comms, early detection systems would all probably collapse. At least, I think that's what the Squith would try to do first. Sever our networks and structures, jam and scramble our tech. Within the hour, Earth would go dark, unable to communicate or see anything beyond what our eyes can see. It would be a cakewalk for the Illuminate. They would have already infiltrated and reconned our planet before their invasion, but people just thought they were UFOs. Which means they would already know quite a bit about our planet. Meaning this is just the beginning of us going from handicapped to handy-clapped. Then the strikes would begin. They would try bombarding key infrastructures from space. Military bases, nuclear stockpiles, power grids, and major cities, vaporizing hordes of humans as mass panic spread. I threw in the mention of the nukes there because those are probably the most devastating power we have against them currently, so they try to definitely cut us off at the kneecaps with that. I don't think they get all of our nukes, but probably most. In fact, out of desperation, at some point, maybe even earlier on, we'd try to nuke them, but it wouldn't be enough. And we wouldn't even see their ships at first. They'd be cloaked, invisible to the naked eye, hovering miles above our atmosphere, watching. All nations would dial up the panic meter to 10. Air forces, navies would scramble jets, ships, but there'd be nothing to intercept. Anything launched into the sky would be tracked and deleted mid-flight. Some pilots might get a visual, brief flashes of an alien hull phasing into visibility just before crashing right into them, and on the ground it would just get worse. Cities would see teleportation incursions, troops and drones would beam down instantly, materializing wherever they wanted. The Marines and the Army wouldn't get a chance to get their shit together because the full-scale war would start behind our lines. But that's just the start, because many humans would begin acting strange. Entire groups might walk calmly into enemy hands, eyes vacant, minds overridden. They'd be converting us into voteless, basically Illuminate grunts, zombie-like, used to bolster their forces against us. And soon, we would begin needing to fight our former fellow humans, as they are now enslaved. By the next day, governments would declare martial law, curfews, mandatory evacuations. Every system would tighten control to survive the chaos. Civil liberties wouldn't be a priority. And on the third day, organized resistance would already be collapsing. The places still fighting wouldn't know who to trust. Some units would break while others would go silent. Governments would try to coordinate a response, but their lines would be cut or compromised. And the world's most powerful militaries would already be losing, and most of them wouldn't even realize or want to acknowledge just how badly. All of our militaries would probably start fighting back together, and with everything. Every nation capable of launching jets, tanks, or drones would throw them at the undemocratic aliens. But the issue is, all of our technology currently is built for human warfare. That shit would prove useless. On the ground, what's left of the military and civilians would line up for war. But our battlefield would already be changed. Our lands, our cities, and structures would be destroyed and razed. Earth would be scorched, and the sky would be painted orange and black from all the fire and fighting. Morale would be at an all-time low, and hope rapidly depleting. The Squith would pull up with their walking fortresses wrapped in energy shields. It would be a mother-truckin' massacre. We might get a few picks here and there, but for every alien we drop, we'd lose dozens of humans fighting for the cause. We'd be stuck, simply trying to survive the next bleak and dreadful hour. Morale would be diminished, but the real breakdown would begin. And I think this would be due to the days that would feel like weeks of non-stop fighting. Squads would turn on each other over rations, botched missions, or nerves stretched far too thin. Some would completely give up and lose any desire to fight or even think of the possibility that the human race could outlive this alien force. Some would just miss their loved ones. I love my wife, and if I lost her, I'd give up too, no questions. Paranoia and oppression would set in fast. In this dying light, any military structures we had would either be gone or crumbling. With no sign of the Illuminate threat slowing down, you would see deserters, rogue fire teams, entire battalions ignoring orders just to make it out alive. Rank starts to lose meaning, and in that chaos, mind control wouldn't even need to work hard. We'd already be halfway there, helping the Squith out just by being scared, divided, and shredded from the inside. But those mentally resilient enough would continue for those who come after. By the end of the week, major cities would be lost. We would no longer be master and commander of the oceans. Air superiority would also be lost. Earth's most advanced weapons were built for speed, range, and destructive power. The Illuminate had already surpassed all three. There would be no more government, no more societies, all of that gone. Cities would flood with refugees, millions of people moving with nowhere safe to go. Power grids would flicker and die, no more internet, food shipments would stop, and people would not wait for answers. They would run, they would hoard. Their animal-based instincts, their primal instincts would kick in. They would arm themselves. Anarchy would rise. In some places, that panic would explode into violence, people just doing horrible things to one another. Laws and morality no longer apply. I mean, let's be real, many would stop caring about ideology. And then, of course, we can't forget about religion. Religions would fracture and reform. Some people would see this as punishment, others would see the Illuminate as proof. New cults would form. Some would worship the invaders. There would definitely be a few that would claim to speak for them. In the absence of certainty, when sheep are scared, they will turn to belief and flock to shepherds. In reality, if the Squith came and attacked, I think it would probably take them less than a month for them to destroy all humans. And that's me being generous to the humans. Maybe the Illuminate would prefer to keep as many humans as they could alive if they could control them in order to boost their own numbers, but a full-blown attack, if they just wanted to completely eradicate us from the galaxy, I'd give them like 2 or 3 weeks. Assuming they don't just create a singularity and black hole us to oblivion. But there is a version of this story where we don't get wiped out. Amid the fall of man, something else could start to take shape. Something rare in human history. Total cooperation. I'm talking globally, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Immediately, yesterday. Military alliances would stretch beyond old rivalries. China would cooperate with NATO. Russia and the US would share battlefield data. Countries that spent decades on the opposite sides of every issue would rally and now stand on the same side of human survival. The threat of a common enemy would force the world to change, because anything less than full democratic coordination would guarantee extinction. No country acts independently, no classified intelligence, no secrets. The only priority would be species-level survival. That just might be enough to adapt to the situation. First thing we gotta do is gather every piece of Illuminate tech we can get our hands on. All that would need to be studied, reverse engineered, and then shared instantly. If a squad in Europe brings down a drone, Australia, Germany, and Korea would need to access it within hours. If a team in Mexico discovers how teleportation works, that data has to be broadcasted to every engineering lab on the planet. If Mother Love in France gets one of their tentacles, they have to share their findings on whatever biological discovery they find with the rest of Earth. Second thing, tactics. Human militaries can't fight an open war against an enemy that sees everything, moves worlds faster, and shrugs bullets off. Conventional warfare won't work. The only viable strategy in this oh shit scenario, where we're caught all the way off guard and we're on our back foot, would be unconventional warfare. Making moves like sabotage, disruption, and disinformation. If the aliens expect strength, we give them deception. If they expect structure, we give them organized chaos. Never let them know your next move. The third key would be psychology. Our psychology. If humans can hold together long enough to resist that collapse, we can start buying opportunities. That is one of the main reasons Helldivers psychology fundamentally works, why it is so practically powerful. Every day we stay alive would be a day earned. Another day of resistance against the fall of man. And the longer we last, the more we would learn. Because that's the fuck we do as humans. The voteless scum won't stand a chance against us once we stand united. It's a narrow path to victory. Here are some win conditions I think we would need to meet, but you can tell me what you agree with or disagree with, or if I missed something. The first condition is scale. The Illuminate cannot be infinite. They're in our home world, and they've been boosting their numbers using our people, which means they don't have enough to outnumber us. So, I don't think it's far-fetched for some to start realizing that what we're facing is an expeditionary force and not a total war machine. This gives us hope that we might be able to bleed them down over time. Every loss we inflict upon them matters more since they can't replace it. The second win condition. If we can deconstruct their science and then reproduce it for our war effort, then we very quickly go from being outgunned to being a threat, because now our weapons can easily hurt them. Our defenses get an upgrade, and if we get our hands on their dark fluid and then learn how to apply it, it's a wrap. Let's move on to the third potential condition, biology. In movies like War of the Worlds or Signs, the invading aliens die simply from exposure to Earth's bacteria or water. Now for us, we've built up an immunity or created vaccines for countless viruses and diseases, and we also like water. But aliens wouldn't have that protection. The fourth is timing. If we can outlast the invasion long enough for their logistics and manpower to break down, we win by endurance. Condition 5, capture. If we can take an alien alive, or even a dead one, our best scientists might be able to find the one exploit that turns the war around. The reality of this scenario is that we would bury more people than we saved, and whatever peace followed would never go back to what we had before. Everyone would remember what happened the last time we failed to act as one. Earth would become super. We would have to become an intergalactic species and ensure that we manage any and all life within our sector. But we would do it the right way, with democracy. Children born after the invasion wouldn't remember Earth before it got burned. The next generation would grow up learning how to disable teleporters, how to detect cloak movement, and how to use a plasma rifle. Because if one alien scum stain found us, others could too.